So I know I have a small channel, but I know I have a large enough channel relative to Vaush's channel size to know that he'll probably end up watching this video. Hi Vaush, I've watched your Politics 101 video. I've watched your Rhetoric 101 video. I've watched a lot of your videos and have donated to you. Huge fan. If you're a viewer of this show, you should go over to Vaush's channel. I'll put a link in the description and subscribe. Ring the bell. He's a great guy. Has great videos, with exception to one. This one I think he should take down. And if he does, I'll give him credit. So this video is a shit post, and I'm going to explain why. I hope Vaush is open-minded enough to take criticism. Let's see. I'm going to play this, and we're going to talk about why this. By the way, so the title of this is Jimmy Dore is either an idiot or an enemy, probably both. Damn. Laying it in there. Just fucking throw him under the bus. Cool, okay. You better have a good fucking argument to do so, right? You better be able to back claims like calling someone an idiot or an enemy. So just hoping he does that. We'll see. Take a look at this video.
Jimmy Dore. Let's give it a look.
There are people, what we are doing to our people during COVID.
Nice. More Tucker Carlson. Just such an ally to the left. Jimmy Dore and Glenn Greenwald and bunch. Man, I love these tireless advocates for workers' rights who do literally nothing but jump on far-right television programs and try to suck the dicks of their hosts.
So, a claim was made that Jimmy Dore, the only thing he does is go on Fox News and suck the dick of the hosts. So, if he's going to make said claim, I hope what follows is an argument or proof or evidence to back that claim. Otherwise, that's an unfounded claim and kind of embarrassing to just throw in your video. Let's keep going. By the way, I just want to clarify. Vaush has mentioned that going on Fox News and making good arguments can happen. I mean, he doesn't imply it, but just listen to this one part right here. This is interesting from this Rhetoric 101 video. Listen from the horse's mouth.
Okay, so we're going to focus on this real hard, okay? So,
focus on what?
Important point number one.
Wow, number one.
If you are trying to change a person's mind, you have to maximize every conceivable rhetorical and stylistic element possible that you believe will increase the likelihood of you changing their minds.
So I don't think Jimmy Dore does an amazing job at this. I think his rhetoric could be greatly improved. I definitely think Vaush has better rhetoric than Jimmy Dore. I think Vaush has better rhetoric than me. That said, pay attention to what Vaush is about to say here. Pay attention.
If you are the best rhetorician in the world, and you show up one day on a Fox News set wearing a tank top and shorts, it is unlikely you're going to change anybody's mind.
True, why?
Because people now have an excuse to dismiss you.
What excuse?
No matter how beautiful your rhetoric, no matter how eloquent your arguments, you have shown up in what is effectively a fashion faux pas. And for that reason... the
fashion faux pas, the wearing a tank top, not the part where going on Fox News, that's not the problem here. The problem isn't going on Fox News, the problem is wearing a tank top. So the problem is wearing a tank top going on Fox News, right? That's the problem. Okay? I'm not saying anything, I'm just saying. By the way, dress the part, right? I don't know. I think I think the argument is disingenuous.
They have now been given an easy excuse to dismiss anything you have to say.
They? Who's they? Fox News. Fox News has an excuse. Now, the implication doesn't work this way. I have a bachelor's degree in mathematics, and so I know the logic doesn't work here. But boy, Vaush makes it really seem like you can go on Fox News here and wear good clothes and make a good argument. Because what Vaush is saying is, it's because of the clothes. The clothing, the fashion faux pas. That's the problem in this hypothetical. So, when I criticize someone in politics, I criticize what they say. I criticize their arguments. So, Jimmy Dore goes on Fox News to talk about, well, how we have a failed state. And we do. I don't think Jimmy Dore has all the solutions, but I really hope Vaush can back up his own claims. Let's see.
Who considers Dore to be left? I don't know. Ask Brianna Joy Gray.
Every other country's making sure their workers, if they shut their business down, gets their wages paid. That's Canada's been getting a $2,000 UBI since COVID started. Plus, they already have health care. People in the United States do not know that this is the only country handling it this way. We are punishing our own people, and nobody can give me an answer. We are fighting over a one-time $2,000 check, not a weekly, not a monthly, not a one-time $2,000 check, as if rent only happens once every year instead of it happening monthly. So we are living in a failed state. Neoliberal. So when Donald Trump got elected, they wanted to talk about Russia and Vladimir Putin instead of the reason why Donald Trump got elected was because the government had abandoned working people.
The reason is that government abandoned working people. It cut out there because, I mean, Fox News is they're fucking assholes, right? You gotta hide this shit, right? The argument, the blame here goes to the government for failing the working class, the workers. Government has abandoned the workers. That's the problem. I agree with that. You have to make a really good fucking argument if you want to disagree with this, especially if you're a socialist. Especially if you're a socialist, right? So I hope Vaush, I hope his criticism is genuine. Take a look.
And it turned its
God, Dore is such a fucking idiot. Jesus Christ.
And so right off the bat, we're going to jump into the fucking ad hominem pool. Just dive right into it. Just insult the guy. Damn, dude.
First of all, the whole reason COVID is so fucked right now in America is because of Trump. It's because of the Republican administration.
It's because of Trump. It's because of the Republican administration. So Jimmy Dore said it's because government, all of the shit, all the nonsense that you see in the government is because the government has abandoned the working class. That was his argument. That was his overarching argument here. And so his argument is the blame goes all around, right? Congress is fighting over a $2,000 check right now. That's what they're fighting over right now. That's not going to solve any problems. And Vaush knows this. If you put down all in words on a transcript what Jimmy Dore said here, I think Vaush would say like, hey, I like what this guy is saying. I think this guy is making a decent argument. I mean, you wouldn't be able to tell gender, I guess, from paper, but you get the point. Let's keep going.
Coming on here, talking to the foremost Republican disinfo presenter, talking as though liberalism was what did this?
That's not what he said. He didn't blame liberalism. He blamed the government. He did not blame liberalism. Neoliberalism is a part of the problem. Saying that Trump is the problem and Republicans are the problem, what you're doing is you're saying that they are the problem. If you get rid of those, then the problem is fixed. You're not going to get fucking socialism by getting rid of Trump and the Republican Party. The reason why we have a fucking disaster right now, the reason this whole thing is terrible is because of capitalism. It's because all the previous administrations have failed to construct a good government, one that works. Vaush knows this. Vaush knows that blame goes all around. Not just the Trump administration. Blame goes to the Obama administration too, and to the Bush administration, and to the Clinton administration, not just the Republicans. When Democrats do this, and I know Vaush isn't a Democrat, but Democrats do this often, they try to pretend like the problem is the Republicans. Right now, Democrats have control of the House, the Senate, and the White House, so they should be able to pass whatever the fuck they want, right? Budget reconciliation or whatever. But they're pretending like they can't do anything, and they're not even fighting. And they're all blaming Ted Cruz for going to Cancun as though he's the only one that doesn't work for the American people. As if he was in Congress, he would have been doing something better. As if there are people in Congress doing better things. Wrong. Congress has a less than 20% approval rating. It's been that way for decades. Why is that, Vaush? Is it because they just keep getting shit done? Is it because the Democrats are really good, but the Republicans just keep fucking over the Democrats? Wrong. The Democrats often vote alongside the Republicans. So it's as if Congress and the executive branch and the judicial branch, the whole fucking government, has failed the working class, which is exactly what Jimmy Dore's argument was. This is sad.
Are you fucking kidding me? Look, I have my critiques too. Not a huge liberal fan, but it was undeniably the Trump administration. But that's what Jimmy Dore does. That's
So if it's undeniably the Trump administration, then if you remove the Trump administration from the system, then shouldn't the problem be solved? So right now, the Trump administration is gone. Where are the solutions? Why aren't they coming in? They should be rolling in, right? Because if the only fucking problem was the Trump administration, they're gone. They're gone, buddy. They have no influence in the executive branch anymore. None. I see capitalism all over, bro. What the fuck are you? What are you seeing? I'm seeing the same shit. I'm seeing Democrats act a lot like Republicans. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing the whole government exploiting how they have abandoned the working class. Do you think Karl Marx would agree with that? Bro.
all Jimmy Dore does. No actual analysis. He'll lie if he needs to. Everything has to come back to how the Democrats are bad. Because
What was a lie? What lie? Which lie? What lie? I don't see it. He's just trying to push out rhetorical, techniques. That's what's going on here. That's what Vaush is doing here. He's not actually giving evidence for his claims. Take a look. Let me show this again.
the Trump administration, but that's what Jimmy Dore does. That's all Jimmy Dore does.
What does Jimmy Dore only do, Vaush? Let's see how genuine you can be here.
No actual analysis. He'll lie if he needs to.
No analysis. Really? He analyzed how Congress is fighting over a $2,000 check when the solutions need to be really fucking systemic at this point. That the government has abandoned the working class. So, if anyone's making claims and not backing them up so far, all I see is Vaush doing that.
Everything has to come back to how the Democrats are bad. Because Jimmy Dore is not an ally, not to the left and not even to the Democrats.
So, first off, why would you want to be an ally to the Democrats? Why? The current leader of the Democratic Party is a war criminal. Did you know that, Vaush? Did you know that the DNC, everything about how the Democratic Party is designed right now points to a far-right fascist government. Fascist. Even if you advocate for a mixed economy, you can still be fascist. Did you know that, Vaush? I went through this whole thing, did a video on it and everything. You should watch it. Fascism. We have a fascist government. The government has abandoned the working class. What's the lie here?
Are bad because Jimmy Dore is not an ally, not to the left and not even to the Democrats.
Why?
Jimmy Dore is an ally to nothing other than vacuum-headed 60 IQ populists who unironically can't see the difference between Tucker Carlson and a leftist advocating for systemic change.
He's just insulting the viewers of Jimmy Dore. If you watch Jimmy Dore, by the way, he just fucking insulted you. Why? What are you doing, dude? Socialists should be inclusive, right? I'm inclusive. If you want to be a socialist, go right ahead. I encourage it. Join the club. If you've been a capitalist, if you've been advocating for slavery in the workplace, it's okay to move on from that. It's okay to become a socialist. It's okay to look into socialism. It's okay to go to a Wikipedia article called Socialism. Or you can go to socialism101.com. That's a great resource. Here's the Wikipedia page. You can learn a lot here. I'm inclusive. If you're a neo-Nazi, if you are a far-right, theocratic, authoritarian nationalist, right? And you're watching this, and you want to be a socialist, and you're thinking about it, come on over. Because socialists recognize that the problem is that we have slavery in the workplace. The government has abandoned the working class. That's the whole point that Jimmy Dore made. That's the whole point. Let's keep going. Oh, that's the wrong video.
Tucker Carlson, simp for the billionaire, has fucking boot leather jammed down his throat 24/7. Tucker Carlson, who has in leaked statements admitted that whenever he sees two candidates running, he chooses the more establishment one because...
So again, Vaush has mentioned in the past that going on Fox News and dressing up like an idiot is stupid because of the dressing up like an idiot part. You're not going to be able to make a good rhetorical argument or you're not going to be able to have good rhetoric. I'm a little intimidated because Vaush has a degree in sociology and I have a degree in math, so this is going to be tough.
He doesn't give a fuck about political adventurism or about advocism. He only cares about his money. He only cares about his bottom line.
He only cares about his money. He only cares about his bottom line. Do you have any evidence to back any of your fucking claims yet? I'm waiting. Your audience is waiting here.
It is so flagrantly transparent how obvious Tucker Carlson's disinterest in real reformative changes. It's evidenced by everything that he does, everything that he is.
Yeah, you have interviews with fascists all the time. And if you think like, oh, Tucker Carlson's totally different, Fox News is different than Tucker Carlson, really? Really? That's your fucking argument? You think that all the hosts are different than Tucker Carlson? Like Tucker Carlson, some like extra worse host? They're all fucking fascists. Every single one of them. Every single mainstream media host is a fascist. They advocate for fascism. If you want proof of that, watch my video about fascism.
But Jimmy Dore, hey man, two peas in a pod. Exact same fucking guy. Jimmy Dore does not give a single shit about progressive reform. He has never given a single shit.
Really? Dude, let's look at Jimmy Dore's page. Let's see if Jimmy Dore doesn't care about progressing anything. Oh, he's criticizing Biden for striking in Syria. Biden betrays the working people, which he is. Remember that thing he promised? Or those many things he promised? Where's that single payer healthcare plan that he had? That he fought for? In the debates. I see a lot of effort being made here to try to progress society. Now, again, Jimmy Dore doesn't have the best rhetoric. I think he can grow. I think he has room to grow. I think I have room to grow. I'm incredibly naive. He's probably way smarter than me. But I mean, I disagree with him in some ways. I disagree with some of the policies that he advocates because they're just not really anything significant, at least, in my opinion. Now, I think there's an exception for Medicare for all, and I think #force the vote. I mean, that was an interesting debacle, right? You all saw what happened. You all saw everyone take their sides. I took my side. I thought what Jimmy Dore had to say was good. And because AOC promised to not vote for Nancy Pelosi, and then she did twice. So that's a good argument. I mean, it's just pointing out hypocrisy. Like, what the fuck is this, right? And that was kind of the whole point of the force the vote. Now, was fame or like money or trying to get views involved? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Because I don't have any evidence. Because if I had evidence, I would be showing you, right? If I had some claims to make, I would show you videos of Jimmy Dore. If I wanted to advocate that Jimmy Dore, if I wanted to say that Jimmy Dore loves Joe Biden or something like that, I mean, if I'm going to make that claim, I better fucking back it, right? Whatever. These claims just don't have merit.
But Jimmy Dore, hey man, two peas in a pod. Exact same fucking guy. Jimmy Dore does not give a single shit about progressive reform. He has never given a single shit about progressive reform. His investment in populism begins and ends at whatever allows him to buy his next mansion, okay?
And you're making fun of him for being wealthy? Really? You have 342,000 subscribers right now. So I'm sure you make some money. Cool, okay. And, I mean, if you're using that money for a bunch of luxurious, selfish things, then, you know, way to advocate for utilitarianism there, right? But, I mean, I don't see Vaush defending this claim about Jimmy Dore wanting to fund a mansion. I don't see that anywhere in this video. That's disappointing, bro. So far, it's just fucking one after the other. And I'm just going to keep going.
Okay. Jimmy Dore, who said that AOC had abandoned the working people because she wouldn't show up to his fucking Zoom conference call.
So first off, if that's true, I'd like to see evidence, Vaush. I think you can pull that one up, but yeah, if that's true, which I don't see evidence of that, but if that's true, that's a naive thing to say. Lots of people have said many more naive things. If you're going to throw Jimmy Dore under the bus like this, that's why? Because he criticized a politician for not following through on a promise? He's frustrated. He's just frustrated. I mean, look at Jimmy Dore's community. Look at the comment section, bro. There are fucking people who are really having a hard time right now. And so when Jimmy Dore goes on this show, people feel this. People can empathize with what Jimmy Dore is talking about. And where did the blame go? The ultimate blame went to the government. Correct. 100% correct. Everyone will look at that argument and think, wow, the government has abandoned the working class. Maybe the government should try to help out the working class. Maybe with like socialism or something. I don't know. Maybe if you were a socialist. Now, Jimmy Dore is not a socialist. At least, I don't see him advocating for socialism on a regular basis. Maybe he doesn't call it that. Whatever it is, calling him an idiot or an enemy still with just completely unfounded claims so far. You should have come with a better argument, Vaush. You should have prepared a little bit more for this one.
On how they needed to force the vote. Jimmy Dore, who freaked the fuck out about AOC because she wouldn't come on his program anymore.
He freaked the fuck out because AOC didn't have a reason. Do you know where AOC went to first? Jimmy Dore's podcast or show or whatever, the Jimmy Dore show. That's where she went first. So that's just, I don't know.
Show up to his fucking Zoom conference call on how they needed to force the vote. Jimmy Dore, who freaked the fuck out about AOC because she wouldn't come on his program anymore.
Like, Imagine that, though, being an argument to call him an idiot or an enemy, dude. Imagine that being your... So far, even though it's fucking... Like, you haven't shown us the tweets. You haven't shown us the evidence. So I'm just believing you here. If that's your reasoning, along with all of these other ad hominems and gratuitous claims with no evidence, dude.
But who was very willing to immediately make excuses for Tulsi after Tulsi said she no longer supported Medicare for all. Jimmy Dore, who said he was responsible.
Evidence. Let's see it. Let's see it. You gonna show us, Vaush? You gonna talk about it? Or are you just gonna mention it because you heard it on Twitter? Because everyone else is attacking Jimmy Dore and they're saying the same thing. Bro, dude.
For AOC success. Jimmy Dore.
Here, let me go back so I can
for Tulsi after Tulsi said she no longer supported Medicare for all. Jimmy Dore, who said he was responsible for AOC success.
By the way, Medicare for all is just socialism for one industry. Great policy, not nearly enough. Like, healthcare should be like less than 10% of the GDP. The other 90%, we're just gonna fucking ignore. Really? That's what we're gonna do with Medicare for all. The solution is socialism, guys. It's not just fucking socialism here and there. Keep in mind, fascism. I did an episode on this. Fascists also advocate for mixed economies, with the principal goal of achieving autarky, I don't know how to say that word, which is just national economic self-sufficiency through protectionist and economic interventionist policies. Like Medicare for all, like having a post office and also UPS. So, fascists can advocate for Medicare for all. Did you know that, Vaush? So, this just doesn't seem like an argument that merits calling Jimmy Dore an idiot or an enemy. Probably both. That's not enough.
Jimmy Dore, the ego-ridden, I unironically wonder if he has brain cancer because his behavior is so inexplicably ego-driven to me. But
unfounded claims. Why, Vaush? You're just saying things. This is how you engage academically, dude? I see all these other videos and you have really great academic analysis. You'll pull up research paper, man. You'll pull up the tweet, you'll pull up the video or whatever. But you're just going off on this guy with nothing in your video. Could have prepped. I mean, you could just hit the escape button and go to wherever you need to go to find your evidence. Right? That's all you need to do. But you didn't.
the only people stupider than Jimmy Dore, the only individuals, the only creatures capable of sinking below the festering depths at which this troglodyte rests are Jimmy Dore fans.
So, real quick, there are like 900,000 subscribers to Jimmy Dore, which means that Jimmy Dore is seen by hundreds of millions, if not probably tens of millions of views overall. And what do you have to say here?
Festering depths at which this troglodyte rests are Jimmy Dore fans.
You're just gonna throw them all under the bus, bro? Like, we need to be inclusive. We need to be inclusive as socialists. Like, what you could say is, hey, everyone at Jimmy Dore, if you go there, if you watch that, I think Jimmy Dore doesn't have good arguments. Here's why. I'm gonna make a bunch of claims about Jimmy Dore. Here's why. And now I'm gonna tell you to like unsubscribe or something, right? And then there's a process here, Vaush. And you're like skipping a lot of steps, man.
Because you have to be some kind of filth to watch Jimmy Dore and unironically think this motherfucker cares about you.
I mean, his argument that he made on Fox News was fucking golden. Like, the evidence that Vaush has is this video. I just want to remind you, this is the only evidence that Vaush has to back all of his claims. All of them so far. All of them. That's it. This video, which has nothing to do with any of the claims he has to say so far. Completely disingenuous, Vaush.
You have to be dog shit on the sole of a shoe to be capable of looking up at this man and thinking, yeah, this guy's got my best interests in mind.
Because that's the only thing you can
totally
fucking rely on.
left-leaning. The day after. Now explain to me what the point is of a advocacy push which goes on past the point where the thing you're trying to advocate for took place.
Great question. I'll answer that question for you. Because that's not what they were doing. If you actually watch the panel or whatever, or provide evidence, Vaush, if you actually do that part, then you'd be able to find out that Jimmy Dore was just criticizing AOC and shitting on AOC and the fraud squad, right? That's when the whole thing trended. That was the whole thing. So it was just a way of coming together and explaining why the Democrats have failed the American people. Would be really convenient to have some evidence right now, Vaush. You have 342,000 subscribers. I only have like 2,000, bro. I don't have a lot. I have a lot of work to do, right? YouTube is a very dynamic place. But dude, you need to do some homework, bro. This is you trying to like criticize Jimmy Dore on a live stream completely unprepared. Take this down. Listen, if Vaush takes down this video and then puts up another video with an argument, evidence, criticism, I'll give him credit. I'll give him credit. Credit where credit is due, right? This is disingenuous.
Oh, but he bought a new mansion recently.
He did.
But he...
Dude, come on, man. This is why you do your fucking homework, bro. Come on, man. This house is not a mansion. I mean, in LA, I know this is probably going to cost like a lot of money, but do you live in LA? Because if you do, then you probably pay quite a bit too. Probably just as much. Price is $1.9 million. 2,815 square feet, 5 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms. So this is a man who's had quite a career too, by the way. He's been a comedian. I mean, he's like deciding that this is an implication that Jimmy Dore is an enemy or an idiot, or probably both. So far, not enough. Not even close. Do you want to look at Richard Wolff's fucking house? Dude.
Rest of the progressives. Jimmy Dore, a man so passionate about progressivism that he'll call Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez a piece of shit, a traitor, a liar. Judas for disagreeing over strategy, even when Jimmy Dore admits that his strategy wouldn't work.
Wrong. Jimmy Dore did not admit that his strategy wouldn't work. If you have a claim, you should fucking back it, Vaush. This is absolute garbage, dude.
A liar, Andrea Ocasio-Cortez, a piece of shit.
So, calling AOC a piece of shit equals you're an idiot or an enemy. Probably both. Really? Jimmy Dore is frustrated that AOC is not playing politics correctly. That she's not using her power to do anything progressive relative to her dear sweet leader, Mama Bear. Right? So he's frustrated, calls him calls her a piece of shit. That means he's a fucking enemy? And therefore his argument that he makes is bad? Really? That's where you go, dude?
A traitor, a liar?
A traitor, a liar. Liar is an interesting one. I mean, AOC mentioned how she was going to not vote for Nancy Pelosi. She said that, and then she did it immediately. It's the first thing she did. And then she did it again. She didn't learn her lesson, apparently. So, what does that make AOC, Vaush? Now, throwing out claims like AOC's a liar, a traitor, or whatever, right? If someone in the media says that, like, I wouldn't call them an idiot or an enemy. That to me is still not enough. It's just not enough, because the thing we're fighting, it's not people, it's ideas. We're fighting bad ideas. That's the goal here. There's no reason to insult people. There's no reason, like, so what if he has a fucking mansion? If what he says on Fox News is good, he has good rhetoric and everything, then why is that argument bad? Why is this like, oh my gosh, how dare he go on Fox News and say a bunch of things that are completely true? Yeah, he went on there and talked about like force the vote or whatever, and talked about how AOC is a whatever, but it's like, if he has arguments and you don't agree with those arguments, Vaush, what should you do? Should you make a video and just say words and not show us evidence? Again, if he comes back and shows us like, look at this, therefore this. Great. Vaush normally does that. But here, this just doesn't seem like enough.
Judas for disagreeing over strategy, even when Jimmy
Wah,
Dore admits
cry.
that his strategy wouldn't work, but likes Tucker Carlson.
Really? That's what he said? That was his argument? Evidence. Just because he goes on to Tucker Carlson's show doesn't mean that he likes Tucker Carlson. There are a lot of scientists that have gone on Tucker Carlson's show to shit on Tucker Carlson. You want to blame them? You want to start attacking them for going on Tucker Carlson? How dare you? Dude.
An ally of the left.
I don't see him as an idiot or an enemy yet.
Globalism and outsourcing all their jobs. And then when an economy does tank, they take care of Wall Street and they screw everybody else. And that's exactly, as a matter of policy, that's what they're doing with COVID. When they shut down everybody's business who has a restaurant or a gym or a bar, and they shut them down and they have no relief for those people, they have decided that effectively...
Hey, whose job is it to have provided relief for the first 10 months of this pandemic? Who was president?
Bro, the president isn't the only one responsible for COVID-19's failure. It's capitalism. You have to go a lot further than Trump. This shit that we're in stems deep, right? If COVID happened during Obama's administration, you really think we wouldn't have a fucking pandemic? Bro, the R value was over 2. The R value for COVID-19 was over 2. You want to see how Obama did with his fucking pandemic and what the R value for that fucking virus is? Let's talk about it. Let's pull up some fucking evidence. Maybe you can do that, Vaush. Maybe you can do that when you make these arguments.
We will not in this segment once impugn Donald Trump.
So first off, Jimmy Dore has. He blamed the government. The whole fucking thing. The government. Trump was a part of the government. So Jimmy Dore just effectively blamed Trump and everyone else.
Biden has been in office for what now? 35 days?
Yeah. 35 fucking days. Remember he said he was going to do all that shit on day one? All this like shit that he could have done? and then he doesn't even fight for it. Doesn't even go on TV to talk about it. Doesn't even propose a bill about $2,000 regarding the $2,000 checks. So 35 days, okay.
Thereabouts, about 35 days. And now it's all Biden. It's all neoliberalism.
That's not what Jimmy Dore said. Jimmy Dore blamed the government, failed state, the whole thing, the whole fucking thing. And if you think that's inconsistent, if you think that's not true, if you think I'm lying to you, go to Jimmy Dore's videos and you can see this is what he says. The problem is the failed state, the government, the whole fucking thing, bro. It's not just Trump, right? If, again, Trump administration, gone. They're gone, right? So why aren't our problems being solved, bro? Maybe it's because capitalism, bro. Capitalism is the underlying issue. And you know this. And I know you know this.
It's all globalism. But Trump in office first 10 months now.
By the way, Jimmy Dore criticized Trump rigorously during the first 10 months. But again, Vaush is not giving you any evidence to back his claims. So, everyone's going poor. Vaush. Everyone. Pretty much. So, this, again, unfounded claims.
Wait, hold on. That's a little strange. What?
President anymore. That was amazing. They could snap their fingers and do an impeachment, and we're still waiting for COVID relief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know how the system works?
Yes, he does. He's fucking trying to tell Fox News viewers because Fox News viewers don't know that, Vaush, and you know that. He's like pretending like, oh, Jimmy Dore said something right. You didn't know that? That's not an argument, bro. That's not a counter. That's just bad faith attack right there. 100%.
Are you familiar? You do realize how many COVID relief bills have passed through the House, right?
And how many of them have done anything at all significant to anyone? These COVID relief bills have been benefiting the top 1%. The one right now that's trying to be passed, 9% of that $1.9 trillion goes to us. The rest goes to the top 1%. What a surprise. It's the same fucking thing every time, isn't it, Vaush? It's the same thing. So here's the thing, Vaush, you need to understand. The Democrats are participating the same way the Republicans are in terms of votes. So far, the things that are passing are as mediocre as the things that Trump was passing. Just they won't even give you $2,000 that they promised. They're not even going to do that. And all these COVID relief bills. Yeah, the fucking terrible ones. They're terrible.
You do know that multiple COVID relief bills have passed through the House, much the same way that the impeachment vote did. And then they die in the Senate, much like the impeachment conviction did.
And is that still the case, Vaush? Can the Democrats do that again and the Republicans will just slap it down? Oh, the Democrats haven't pushed for anything yet? They decided, well, because if they push for something progressive, they're going to have to vote for it. And then the Senate's definitely going to approve it because it's majority Democrats now. Do you understand, Vaush? So they're not going to pass policies. They're not going to put them on the table because if they do, they're going to have to vote for them. They don't want to do that because their donors pay them not to do that.
But he doesn't know how politics work. I legitimately do not think that he understands. Oh, we have a dumb fucking chat. Good. Somebody to vent my antagonism out. Aaron Primick. I vehemently disagree with your stance on Jimmy Dore, Vaush. Whatever happened to holding politicians' feet to the fire? That's not holding politicians' feet to the fire.
Then really?
You fucking moron. I'm sorry. I'm tired of taking these claims seriously. First of all,
First of all, holding politicians' feet to the fire isn't something that you do as like volunteering. It's something that you should do, okay? It's something that you should do. You should be holding politicians' feet to the fire. You should be consistently criticizing politicians for not doing enough. Why should you be doing that? Because the problems aren't solved yet. We'll stop complaining once the problems are solved. It's that easy. It's that simple. How do you solve the problem? I've gone through my argument. You socialize everything. Give the workers their work back. So the problem here is that Vaush is making a bunch of claims about Jimmy Dore and just not backing any of them. So I'm just not going to believe you.
You actually look at any of the behind-the-scenes discourse on the force the vote types, they admit that they know there's absolutely no potential that force the vote would have actually gotten Medicare for all even tabled. Like,
wrong. That's wrong. If you put Medicare... So here's the argument that Jimmy Dore made. If you put Medicare for all on the table, then the Democrats are either going to have to vote for it or vote against it, right? I mean, they have a majority rule, so imagine the Democrats voting against Medicare for all in the middle of a pandemic. You think they'll do that? Because a lot of people didn't think that. A lot of people thought that it could work. And to say to them, your opinion is terrible without giving any evidence to back your reasoning, to throw them under the bus. Dude.
Like, not even put out there, you know? They knew it. They admitted it was a virtue signal to condemn the people who said they'd support it but actually don't support it.
Again, claims, no evidence. Claims, no evidence. Claims, no evidence. Dude.
You want to talk about holding people's feet to the fire, but then you advocate for the most meaningless virtue signal in the fucking history of political advocacy from progressives in this country, okay?
He advocates for a lot of shit, dude. Like, just throwing all of this, like, oh, he's not advocating for a lot of shit, you know? He's just advocating this one thing. Really, my dude? I see a lot of force the vote shit, but I see a lot more other stuff, too. So to just say this and not back it up is disingenuous.
Second of all, you're not holding anybody's feet to the fire if your plan is stupid, okay? If Jimmy...
The plan isn't stupid. It's not stupid to try to pass Medicare for all, to use leverage. That's not stupid, Vaush. That's holding politicians' feet to the fire.
Dore came on there drooling, as always, frothing into his microphone like the fucking simian that he is.
Again, ad hominem pool, because he has nowhere else to go. He doesn't have a place to go. He doesn't have evidence to go to. Why is that? I want you to ask yourself that question as a viewer. Why is it that Vaush is saying all this and not giving you any evidence, considering that is like the one thing I really like about Vaush? Because he does that all the time. He backs up his shit, right? And I want to get into that too. I like that. If you're going to call someone an idiot or an enemy, you better be fucking ready with that evidence. And you're not, dude.
Screaming that AOC betrayed her campaign promises by not eating pigeon shit, by not licking pigeon shit off the railings outside the fucking steps of the Congressional building, the Capitol building. Do you think that, like, she's like, no, I'm not going to do that, actually. And Jimmy Dore fans, why won't you? You said you would. You said you would follow the will of the people.
That is apples and oranges, dude. Because AOC never talked about voting on eating pigeon shit, but she did talk about forcing a vote on Medicare for all. Not voting for Pelosi. She said this, okay? And again, Jimmy Dore has shown these videos. I can hear. I'll do it because I'm a principled man. Here we go.
That we need new leadership. I think the idea that we should have the same leadership for more than one generation is probably a mistake in American politics in general. You know, when I think about my opponent trying to take Nancy Pelosi's seat, it's like, why? Like, what has he done? And I think that what we need to really look at and value, and you know, it goes back down to the idea of valuing fundraising and equating fundraising with leadership. Wow. And they're not the same thing.
Dude. Like, I don't even need to say anything, bro. Evidence, the opinion I have is that Vaush is not backing up his shit. Because that's all I need to say, bro. That's all I need to say. Literally. So, AOC promised a lot of shit, and what she said there in the first speech, that fucking sucks, bro. That hurt. Like, if you look through the comment section, people got really frustrated at her over that. Throw the hashtag force the vote aside. That one speech by itself, just not even inclusive of Jimmy Dore at all. Jimmy Dore isn't involved in that. People just really hated that. Like, she's going all in on Pelosi, and she has. On record. Imagine if she voted for anyone else and just stuck with her vote. Like, she can. She can just vote for someone else. She can withhold her vote. She can, and then stall the government and threaten to keep the government stalled until you have socialism. You can have done that, right? Called using leverage. If there was a socialist that did that, I would 100% be okay with that. Like, if a socialist went up there and said, "Listen, I'm not going to vote for any of you motherfuckers. You guys can go in limbo until you give me socialism. So fuck you." Right? If someone did that, I'd be like, "Wow. That's really good. I like that." To call Jimmy Dore an idiot or an enemy here is still unfounded.
The will of the people is that you eat pigeon shit. And then people like you run about screaming that she's not doing her due diligence. What? AOC's job is not to kowtow to whatever dumb fuck grifty scheme loser YouTubers like Jimmy Dore have in their heads. And
who are they supposed to kowtow to? Right now, we have a Biden administration that's doing nothing and could do everything if he wanted to. Everything that the Democratic Party, everything in the Democratic agenda, you just take the whole DNC, all the policies that you said, hey, we're going to advocate for these, and then you just put them on Nancy Pelosi's desk. She signs them. They all vote on it. Majority rules, goes to the Senate, do the same thing, majority rules, and there you go. Boom. Biden signs it. It's not happening, bro.
Any given point in time. Her job is to make the country better, which she does in large part because she's smarter than you.
How does she? Show us evidence. How does she do good for this country? So, I want to clarify. There's a difference between doing good for this country and doing marginal shit. Okay? AOC gets like a D, if not an F, from me. Why? Because I have high standards. Why would I have high standards? Because our government is fucked. The whole system is fucked right now. So we need to go pretty fucking far from where we're at right now to solve anything, to do anything. Do you see AOC doing that? Do you see her causing a ruckus? People are frustrated that this is not happening. That every once in a while we get a cute little interview where she owns some like bank CEO or something like that. And then like she gets all the credit and everyone's like, yeah, what a progressive, right? And then people go on their day. Here's another thing that often happens. Right now you have Bernie Sanders advocating for a $15 minimum wage. Remember that time he wanted a $20 minimum wage? Yeah, no, not anymore. Well, what he's advocating for is $15. Why is he advocating for a $15 minimum wage? Well, because the Democrats don't want it. What? But wasn't that in the DNC thing? Wasn't that what Biden promised? Oh, they were just kidding. That frustrates people, Vaush. To look at the people who are frustrated and to just label them an idiot or an enemy is unproductive. It does not help the socialist agenda at all. You just take down the video and keep doing what you're doing. I love your videos, just not this one.